On my last cruise, I used my cruise card for exactly one thing, opening my stateroom door. I never pulled it out at a bar, never signed for wine at dinner, or for a cappuccino at the cafe. I never thought about a single price for 2 straight weeks. And when the cruise ended, my final balance was zero. That's the dream, right? Total frictionless luxury. Here's the twist. That exact feeling, the one cruise lines and some resorts charge a premium for, might be the reason some people come home from vacation feeling worse instead of better. Let me show you why. If you've booked a cruise lately, you've faced the choice. On the luxury end, lines like Regent or Silver Sea, nearly everything's included, and the whole pitch is you almost never need to pull out your cruise card and you'll never be surprised by a bill. On the mainstream lines, you'll usually choose buy the drink package up front or just pay for each cappuccino, cocktail, and glass of wine as you order it. Now, I've spent years telling companies to strip the friction out of their customer experience. I wrote a whole book titled Friction. So my instinct is always all-inclusive wins. No tab, no math, no breaking the spell of vacation. But an interesting argument from Utpal Dholakia of Rice University made me stop and reconsider that universal advice. And it comes down to what's happening inside your brain every time you pay. Here's the science in one sentence. Spending money hurts a little. Researchers call it the pain of paying. A researcher at my undergrad alma mater, Carnegie Mellon, named it 30 years ago, and brain imaging later confirmed it. When you look at a price, particularly when that price feels too high, regions of your brain tied to actual physical pain light up. Real discomfort, tiny but real. And here's the part that matters. The more visible the payment, the more it stings. Handing over cash hurts more than tapping a credit card. One-click ordering, where you barely notice the transaction, almost painless. Now think about all-inclusive pricing. You pay once, months before you board. By the time you're on the ship, the pain is already over. It's the ultimate one click. No wonder it feels like bliss. But that little sting you paid to eliminate, Dholakia makes the point that it was also doing a job. It was a break. Every time you sign a $17 cocktail tab, it's a nudge. Do I actually want to pay for the next one? The first poolside drink is pure bliss. The fourth, maybe is okay. The seventh isn't really doing you any favors. When you're paying as you go, you get that nudge every single round. Your brain unconsciously compares the marginal enjoyment of one more against the price. As the enjoyment value goes down, the pain of paying goes up. Where everything's included and a drink just appears with a nod to the bartender, nothing in the experience ever says, maybe that's enough. In fact, for some people, there's a perverse motivation at work. I paid for this package, I need to get my money's worth. And it's not just drinks. Picture an all-you-can-eat buffet versus a sushi place where you order one plate at a time and watch each price add up. At the buffet, you almost always leave overstuffed. Paying by the plate, you stop sooner. Your wallet taps you on the shoulder before your stomach does. So, is all-inclusive secretly a trap? Not so fast, because that break cuts both ways. Yes, it can protect you from the seventh cocktail, the third trip to the buffet, the hangover, the scale at the end of the vacation. That's a real benefit for some people. But for most of us on vacation, the break isn't a gift, it's a tax. Nobody relaxes while mentally tracking every espresso, every tip, every glass of wine. Freedom from that running tally is a huge part of what you're actually buying when you go all-inclusive, and the research backs this up. People prefer to prepay most strongly for exactly this kind of pleasurable experiential purchase. A cruise is the textbook case. So for the typical traveler, all-inclusive still wins. The effortless experience is worth the premium. So how do you choose? Know yourself. If you're someone who wakes up regretting that last round or who dreads the scale at the end of the trip, the pay-as-you-go break isn't a hassle, it's a feature. You'll almost certainly spend less and you'll feel better. But if overdoing it isn't your problem and what you crave is pure ease, go all-inclusive and don't look back. Businesses can offer an all-inclusive experience but build in a little helpful friction. Bartenders are trained to spot overindulgence and can slow things down, say by serving new arrivals first, suggesting alternatives, or, in extreme cases, telling guests they've had enough. Meal portion sizes don't have to be huge if a guest can order another. Most won't. A little friction goes a long way. And this isn't just about cruises. It's the lesson for anyone selling unlimited, buffets, open bars, subscriptions. Strip out the friction that hurts the experience, but keep the rare bit of friction that actually protects it. Because the best experience isn't always the one with zero friction, and it's definitely not the one with the most. It's the one that knows the difference. So the next time your vacation includes everything, enjoy it. Just know exactly what you traded away to feel that good, and add a little friction of your own if it will help you have your best experience.